two, rolling into it.
All right, Nolan Smith interview, take two. Andrew Mason here with Underground Magazine. Today we have Nolan Smith with us, music manager for SuperDuperKyle, a Ventura native as well. Just like everybody else, you know, grew up here in the 805. And we were talking a little bit before about whether you and Kyle consider yourselves success stories, right? And what I wanted to ask is just like, when did you consider yourself successful in the game? Like, what point was that? Was that with I Spy? Was that with earlier tapes? Did that come after? What was there a turning point that you consider yourself successful, or was it gradual?
Man, I'm really blessed to just be able to do this full time for a living, you know, and I think that there's a lot of success just in that in itself. Obviously there's always like another glass ceiling to try to break through. I think that every artist top to bottom would agree. I think that, so yeah, it's that battle of like trying to be in the moment and proud of the progress that you've made, but still trying to keep your foot on the gas, create new goals and new dreams in order to take it to the next level. So, I mean, I'm just blessed to be here, happy to be here talking with you, you know. When I go home to Ventura, I feel like very fortunate to just have kind of like made it out. I mean, it's a beautiful place. You don't ever have to leave. But I think that there's a lot of that. Like, I don't know how many hip hop artists prior to Kyle like were able to kind of like make it out and break into like more of like the mainstream music industry. So really grateful for that. And I think our story is really, really unique, and I love telling it, and being a part of it has been kind of a fairy tale. So I think it's really, really cool, and I think we're an example that you can do it, you know.
And like, yeah. You didn't just link up with Kyle a few years ago. You've been there from, it seems, day one, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
So you said that you first really started kind of teaming up with Kyle back when you were 21, right? He was 17. You did a show. Did you see something in him that you think you didn't see in other people? Why did you decide to really accompany yourself with Kyle? Man,
yeah, I think that him and I just had good synergy. Like very much like yourself, I kind of I was telling you, I put together local shows, and I was paying attention to what all the young artists were doing because I wanted to be a manager, and I knew I needed my own client. But I was also just trying to build community because I thought that Ventura is this really, if you're there, and everyone probably listening to this understands this is like, no matter what city you're in, whether you're in, like no matter what part of the county you're really in, I'm obviously partial to Ventura because that's where I'm born and raised, right? And it's by the beach, and it's got all the little perks or whatever, and the lifestyle is amazing. But like, I think that there's all these little cool pockets of the county, like what a lot of friends and family, like how they feel about Oxnard and Cameron, like everybody it all kind of has that charm.
And scenes, honestly.
And I think that, I'm kind of like, I need to like retrace my steps here, but yes, I think Kyle and I had this great synergy, and I think that once we started throwing shows together and like putting in work together, I think we just clicked up and it just moved in the same direction pretty easily. And so I think that was, and he's an amazing person to work with because of the things that you might not see on camera or hear on record. His work ethic is insane. He has a great attitude. He treats everybody with just so much respect, and he's just hilarious. So he's pleasant to work with, and I think that like we've been working together for like over a decade now, and so I think that, or close to a decade now, and so I think that a lot of his traits and stuff have enabled that, you know.
And so obviously people are able to see how Kyle developed over the last 10 years. But how do you think you have changed yourself going from this kid living in Ventura in 2009 to living in LA now and managing one of the most popular artists?
Man, yeah. I think it's a maturation process, just very similar to anybody else as you kind of start to mature. Like, I think even within the context of my career, because this was my dream and my passion, I think I've started to kind of like become more mature in how I treat my clients, whether it be Kyle or other people that I work with, and kind of the energy I bring to the table. I just think my natural maturation process has helped me. I'm starting to learn other facets of different businesses, whether it be investing or, you know, real estate and just different things. And I kind of like, I always say like how you do anything is how you do everything. So I think that it's important to just develop different skills and character traits and different things in order to, whether you're in the client services business like me and you're a manager, to like help your clients along, you know, because I think the business and representing artists is much different than like what you might think it is, you know. There's a lot of, it's like a personal relationship. So there's a lot of like, you know, being a best friend, being a counselor, being a mentor, being a brother, being, you know, a good listener. You know, there's all these things that kind of go into it. Being just a shoulder to cry on, or a hand to pick you up, you know?
So like you'd say like you and Kyle have definitely gone through a fair share of ups and downs together.
I mean, yeah, all of them, all the emotions, you know, blood, sweat, tears. I think it's and I think that's what it takes, you know what I mean? So, as the industry shifts, I think sometimes the focus becomes on things that aren't blood, sweat, and tears, but I think blood, sweat, and tears is like pretty much what it takes, you know?
And so I want to transition a little bit to something that was definitely a high point for you guys. Something that impressed me a lot. Like, I didn't really know much about Kyle, enough of his music really, besides some of his bigger songs. For a long time, I knew he was from Ventura. Oh my God, it's crazy. But when you guys dropped See You When I'm Famous, that really impressed me because you guys had some huge features on that.
Wow, yeah.
You got Rico Nasty, Trippie Red, Ian Dior, Too Short, right? Izzy Chike. Like, you guys it really proved to me that Kyle was not just this dude with one song.
Right.
And like, what role did you play as a manager in developing that album? Did you like help A&R and get some of these people in here? How did all those like really impressive features manifest?
Man, I think that I just feel like there's always a foundation that you're constantly building on. You know, it's like Kyle, I don't think is like a brand new artist anymore. I think he is, a lot of people are discovering him every day, so he's new to a lot of people. And even someone like you in the 805 who's kind of like maybe even fits in his target demographic, where you're like a few years younger than him. Like when you were in high school, he was like really on the come up, or like in college, he was really on the come up. And I think that who he's able to get into the room now is a reflection of people that his music has impacted. So like someone like Trippie, like, you know, I think, like I said, I don't even want to take credit for any of that, besides the fact that we just worked on building and releasing Kyle in the most genuine, authentic way, his music all these years. And then when Kyle sends a DM to Trippie, Trippie's like, yo, Kyle, I fuck with you. Let's hop in the studio. And he sends a DM to Rico. You know what I'm saying?
So it really happened through Instagram DM?
I mean, yeah. Or like calls or so-and-so, you know, maybe we reach out to the management team and be like, is there any interest for Trippie to get into the studio? Yeah, Trippie loves Kyle. But like at the end of the day, it always comes back to the artists, you know? And Kyle has a really clear direction on his sonics and where he wants to take it, you know? And I'm always there to be critical, to offer feedback, to give creative ideas, but at the end of the day, he's like really heady and he knows where he wants to take the direction of the music. And I think this music he made, unfortunately, we got hit with a pandemic and he made the album in 2019, but he really made the album because he wanted to play it live. All the music is geared to like a high energy concert, a festival, you know? And so I think that when you listen to the record, it's hard because we've just been all in our houses. And so if you're driving in your car and you crank it, you might catch the energy that he's kind of going for, but it's really meant to be played at high volume and for big people and to party to and to have fun to. And where some of his previous album, Light of Mine, was a little more introspective and more moody. And so I think that, yeah, I think the timing of it is is interesting. But I'm curious to hear like the feedback from like what people think about the record as they come to it. But yeah, I think that for him is like, you know, I'm doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I'm coming up with marketing ideas. I'm you know, this one I was produced all the music videos for it, you know, and, you know, even helped kind of direct and create direction with Jacob Owens, our friend, has come with creative with Kyle and him in order to kind of get the music videos going, you know. And that's the role. Like, I think as a manager, it's always no task too small, no task too large, right? So it's like, if I need to style the photo shoot, then I'll style the photo shoot. If I need to freaking get water, I'm getting water. If I need to find the producer or find the graphic designer, or if I need to give someone a pat on the back, if I need to pay somebody off behind the scenes, you know what I mean? It's like, it's literally that. It's no task too small, no task too large. And so I think creatively I've played every role, whether it's designing the merch or organizing the tour or tour managing or everything besides like making the movie, making the music. You know, if I am in the studio and I hear like I have an idea for a lyric, I might throw it out there. It might fall flat, but hey, you know, any way I can help. You know.
How receptive of Kyle, or how receptive is Kyle to like your criticism? Like, I'm assuming if you've been around him for so long and you guys have had the success you have, you're not a yes man, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And it's hard because, you know, I think that's something that as your relationship changes, people don't really understand this. They hear the concept of a yes man and a man, and when they're in the industry, you know, especially around these like really big personalities, like it takes a lot of confidence to, and it takes a lot of self-belief to be the guy, you know? So you need people around you that build you up. And it's this really fine line of like, people don't even know that they have yes men around them, you know? And so I think it's a sneaky thing that kind of creeps up on you. But yeah, you know, it's funny because like early on in his career, we weren't making any money, so it didn't do anybody any favors for me to like yes him to death.
Yeah.
You know, in fact, I probably to the point where I was knowing him to death because I just like none of it was working. So I was just like, man, none of this works. So I was skeptical about everything, you know, which like, you know, people don't want to have negative people around them all the time, but I think that I've had a really critical eye, and I think as we've grown, I'm always just trying to lead Kyle back to himself creatively and challenge him creatively. Like, and I think he looks at me as a brother and a big bro, you know, and I think he completely humors me by really taking everything that I say to heart and always like finding a way to apply it, you know. But I think as I've matured, I've grown into more, let me help you get this to how you want it to be, rather than, no, it needs to be like this. I see this, you know, because when we were young, because it wasn't working, I was very like, I think I was just bullish about thinking I knew how, and, you know.
I feel what you mean. Like, when you're low key and you're still trying things, it's like, as a manager, you want to be the one that has a say in things and stuff. But
right.
Now that a lot of success has come your guys' way, you can kind of just be somebody that helps his vision, his creations manifest.
Right.
So I want to take a little trip.
Let's do it.
Memory lane here.
Let's do it.
So I stalked your Instagram for quite some time yesterday.
Beautiful.
And I found some stuff that I want to ask you about.
Okay.
And so we'll put these on the screen so you don't need to worry about showing them. But I just want a little backstory. I want to see what this stuff is about.
Okay.
I actually, this first one, I've met your brother before.
Yes.
But do you remember what this is and where the show was?
Spenny. Yeah, so this is at the Ventura Theatre, and I think we were at, I want to say like a YG concert or something.
I think it was like 2013, I think was when it was.
Yeah, we were just getting some beverages, listening to some live music, you know, like we do.
And so
wearing some merch.
Was the Ventura Theatre a big part of your childhood and your initial involvement into music?
Yeah. The Ventura Theatre, shout out to Loanne, who runs the theater. It's a really good friend of mine. She's just so supportive of us. But it wasn't always like that. Like, I think, you know, when you're coming up and you're a young artist or manager that represents a young artist, you're always facing that resistance. There's so many no's. I was just telling you, like, dude, we couldn't catch a break with the Ventura Theatre. I remember
Like trying to get performances there?
either get performances there or just like get them to treat us like we weren't just like trash. You know what I mean? Like, I'll never forget, like, Kyle, I got him a show opening up for A$AP Rocky there. And this was when Rocky was like, first, like, he was like on a wave, like, first started popping. And he had no support. It was just Rocky and A$AP Mob, and they were just gonna do their show and they were gonna dip. And there were no openers, and somehow I had a relationship with the promoter, and so I made it happen. He kind of saw what we were doing with Kyle, and his name's Jeffrey Schumann, so shout out to him too. And he actually kind of believed in Kyle early, and always was keen to, he was just responsive. I like barely ever met, I met the guy maybe once in person, but he was always just via text message, wouldn't answer any of my calls ever, which was also the most frustrating thing on the face of the earth. But he, with A$AP Rocky, he let Kyle open, which was crazy because most headlining acts, they can control the stage. So like, they won't let anybody open usually. Like, and Rocky, that was the case, but somehow Jeffrey snuck him onto the bill. And so we adjusted the flyer, and it was like a cool moment, which was weird because it, you know, Rocky's like, it was like dark, all black gear, like rage, and Kyle's like making bubbly pop music, you know? Yeah. And so or like bubbly rap music. I mean, he had some bangers too, so don't get it twisted. But like, I think that, yeah, like I forget what happened, but I remember like as soon as Kyle got off the stage, we were getting like thrown out the back of the venue. You know what I mean? And like weren't invited back in, couldn't even like go sit at the bar and watch. There was just like always some bullshit, you know what I mean? But I say that to say like, you know, sometimes it takes a second for people to warm up to you. So I like, Loan is a really good friend of mine. The security guards have been much more hospitable to us. Maybe you have to sell out Ventura Theatre 3 times in order to do that, to get that type of respect. But, you know, whatever it takes. It's all part of the journey, you know?
Absolutely.
This is a good one, though. Classic.
I got another one for you here. So I'm not really sure what's going on here. I think it's like maybe a music video shoot or something. But this has to be some old Kyle stuff. Oh, yes. So what's going on in this video, or in this photo? Who are these people? This is DY, formerly DY, David Morris, futuristic. Why am I blanking on these guys' names? Sam King, Mr. Man. Why am I blanking on my boy's name? He's going to see this. He's going to be like, Nolan, you don't know me? You don't remember my fucking name? This was maybe like 2010, I think. 2011. Yeah, Mr. Man, Kyle. Yeah, a lot of these guys are still our friends. Mr. Man, SK, all these guys are really, really good guys. This was early on. Is this video shoot called No Budget. And if you are familiar with Kyle's early video director, Jacob Owens, and his channel, the Buff Nerds, which was one of the YouTube channels that he was directing and producing videos for Kyle, and Kyle was kind of starting to get like audience, his fan base from them, getting like hundreds of thousands of plays on YouTube, like early in his career. Yeah, so they all just got together, Jacob Owens, and these guys were all artists who had buzzy videos on this Buff Nerds channel. Okay. And they did a song and a video together, and it kind of like, it's like if you put everybody in a song and a video, probably like you do, it was like that energy. Okay. And but everybody had like their own fan base and stuff. Were they from like outside Ventura? So DY is from West Virginia, I believe. Mr. Man grew up with Kyle in the Valley, but spent a lot of time in Ventura as well. And then SK4MC might be from Vegas. Devontae Fields, that's his name, sorry Devontae, you know I love you, bro. I don't know why I was blanking. Pressure's on. And then Futuristic is from Arizona. Devontae Fields, I believe, is from Dallas, Texas. But these guys had all kind of convened around this YouTube Buff Nerds situation. That's awesome. Yeah. All right. We're going to move on here to, you were kind of, this is funny because we were talking about this before. I wasn't sure if this would come up. You were talking about your blog days. Yeah. Talking about A$AP Rocky. I saw this screenshot somewhere. Yes. So this is 2012. Yes. So what were you doing? You were writing blogs and it got posted to a Ventura news outlet? You know what I did was, and this is just what it takes to just, hip-hop is just hacker internet. You know what I mean? It's figuring out how to finesse we call it finessing the web.
figuring out how to finesse the web in order to like, and people are doing it on TikTok and Instagram. What can I do to get popping? Like, how can I get some page views? How can I get some clicks? And what I realized was that you could self-publish onto the Ventura County Star website.
Okay.
So I had my blog, and I was like, man, what is going to give my shit more legitimacy? And I just was like, man, I figured out how you could self-publish. And so, and the portal to this thing looks the same as the regular newspaper. And it's like a opinion section or something, you know? And so I just remember going boom and screenshotting it. And then maybe the comments under here, there might be like 5, but they're all like, oh my God, Nolan, you're doing so good. You're writing for the newspaper. Congratulations.
And I'm pretty sure your caption was something like, we just got posted.
Yeah,
I think it didn't allude to the fact that you put it there.
Just completely faking it till you make it. But what I was also trying to do for this A$AP Rocky show was, it was kind of like, I was trying to create awareness around it because Kyle was opening up. And at the time, Ventura is just a sleepy town. Like, I remember being like hip to all the hip hop shit. Like, it just, there wasn't like some of my cool friends were on it, but like most people just weren't on it. They were like on whatever the mainstream thing was.
I feel it's still today, honestly.
Yeah. It's like they're moving a little slow out there in Ventura. We love them, but it's hard to kind of get them up to speed.
Yeah, I feel.
So this was an effort to do that, like kind of get this A$AP Rocky word out about this show that we were going to be performing at.
All right. So this is another video shoot, it seems like. And what I liked was the comments on this was funny. So I pinned out the comments. But do you remember this? It looks like it's like Kyle in a pool.
Yeah. So this was a video. Yeah, I'll never forget this. And this is like kind of like a manager tale of like spending 3 days shooting a video for like in retrospect. And I remember saying this the whole time, like, this song sucks. Why are we shooting a video for it? But like, I was the minority, and like the kid who produced it had his brother out in town directing it.
And they loved it.
And then Kyle was just on board, and Kyle was kind of like, yeah, I know this song sucks, but like, he really wants to do it. And he produced the song, and his brother's out here directing the video. And we literally ran around for like 3 days shooting this video that fucking never came out.
Oh
you know what I mean? And it was like all kinds of
thing.
crazy shit happened. Like, I think like a light broke into the pool on this, and then like, you know, yeah, and Kyle had there was this underwater shot happening. Like,
yeah. Did he have his clothes on?
Yes, he has his clothes on. There was like some fucking shit going on. I don't even know, dude.
And so what's the date on that? Right there.
The date is May 21st, 2012.
So at this time, these were the only comments on this thing. That's what was kind of mind-blowing to me when I was just going deep into your stuff. Is just like, you were really there when you were getting 16 likes with Kyle.
Yeah.
You know, and like, so who are these people that were commenting? Do you know these people?
Yeah, so Resource Da Vinci is actually a producer that goes by Resource, and I played basketball with him at Moore Park College. And he's like since had like a lot of music industry success too. Like, he's produced a bunch of stuff for Ray Shremmerd. He's produced some stuff for Nipsey. Like, he's had a lot of success. And it's funny because he's never worked with Kyle, but I consider, because we had that year of playing community college hoops together, I consider him like my brother.
Yeah.
But like, for whatever reason, he's doing his shit, I'm doing mine. We haven't like synced it back up. I've run into him a few times, but he always just had jokes. And none of these people were fans of Kyle at this time. Maybe Milo, shout out to Camilo, DJ Milo, he said this looks dope as fuck. Because here's the thing, and every artist is going to be able to respect that, is like, it's hard to even get your friends and family to like fuck with what you're doing when you're just starting out. Like, straight up. Because they're like, I don't know if it's going to work. Like, people don't have that kind of foresight. And you can't blame them.
You're the only one that can believe in your shit.
You're the only one that can believe in your shit. And like, I mean, I had friends, I'll tell you, like, I had friends that were so confused about what I was doing until I Spy came out. You know what I mean? And didn't get it. Like, close friends, and I love them, and I still love them to this day. And at some point, you gotta like tune out all the noise, put the blinders on, and just be laser focused on the dream and the goal and move in that direction. Because, and there's people today that are still are haters. You know what I mean? That's never gonna change. You know?
Happens.
So like, but yeah, here is a prime example where now it's like, this is the VH1 behind the music thing where it's like, this was sitting there with 16 likes. Nobody thought this was interesting or cool, you know?
We gotta get that video.
Yeah. Oh, the video is out there somewhere. I don't even know if I saw a final cut of it, but I think it just is also a testament to, it just remembers that the journey is just it's non-linear. It's like you're going like this the whole time. Mm-hmm. Hopefully in the upward trajectory. Because we were definitely running around with chickens like our head cut off, and it wasn't to put out a hit song. That's for sure, you know?
Yeah. All right, I got one more for you.
Okay.
This is something you recently retweeted.
Okay.
And I thought it was interesting because I didn't really know exactly what you meant by it, or meant by retweeting it. And it's just like, I don't know. Let me show you here.
Okay, yep.
So what do you mean by saying TikTok is eating the music business, and like how have you and Kyle like adapted or transitioned in the TikTok era, or did you feel like you even had to?
This is a tweet from my buddy Chris Zaruf, shout out Chris. And it just says TikTok is eating the music business. But yeah, I think that it's pretty clear, right, what this is saying. And I do think that that's kind of what's happening in practice.
Like it in a negative way, or in a positive way, or in a neutral way?
I don't think it's negative or positive. Okay. I just think it is. You know what I mean? And I think it depends on your perspective on it, really. Like, you can look at it in a negative way, or you can look at it in a positive way. And I think Kyle actually, he has over 1 million on TikTok, followers on TikTok, and I think it's a testament to him and how he doesn't care. He's not precious with any platform. Like, when I met Kyle, he was spamming people on Facebook to listen to his music. Then he was posting YouTube covers because he knew those were going to get clicks. Then he was on Twitter growing his audience. Then I got him hip to Instagram, and he started growing on Instagram to do the thing. And I think that that's a testament to any of these artists. It's like, you just use the tools like tools. Mm-hmm. You know, figure out how to communicate with your audience or the audience in that world, but this is the case. I mean, we're experiencing the Instagram algorithm constantly adjusting, and it's harder to organically reach your own audience. And then TikTok is this behemoth that anybody can get a viral video. So everyone's just taking reps at trying to get a viral video. Now, to Kyle's credit, is like, we were really early on TikTok because Kyle had his song with Yachty, Hey Julie, started going viral on there. And we saw the streams like go like this, boom. And we were like, what the heck?
What year, when was
beginning of 2018, yeah. Was it 2018 or it might have been beginning of 2019? Yeah, it was beginning of 2019, I want to say. Because he had put out his album, Light of Mine, May of 18, and then we toured the rest of the year. And then in like December, we dropped the song and video for Hey Julie. And he just started going crazy. And we're like, where's this coming from? And then we're like, oh, TikTok, Musical.ly became TikTok. Obviously, we saw all the stuff that was happening around Musical.ly. And then it was like we were seeing the content was on there. And Kyle was like, man, I don't know how to make this content communicate to my audience. It seems like it's like a lot of like tween girls like dancing. You know what I mean? Like, how do I? But people are loving Hey Julie. They're making up dances to it. Like, how do I lean into this? And so it was like hard at first to adapt it because it was like there was nobody cool on TikTok, so we didn't really have like a platform of like, no, this is how cool people treat TikTok.
Yeah, it's like so new.
It's so new. We didn't know how to treat it, so we just watched it, and now he like is constantly just like making time to communicate and make funny videos and just you know, use the platform like a tool, like what it is, you know. And that's one thing I think about him that also sets him apart is from like a social media marketer, he's like always in front of that. Like, he's growing his Twitch. Like, somehow he's always like front running the conversation about like how to interact on the new platform that people are growing audience on.
Like, you and your team don't have to convince him very hard to be a friendly personality.
No, and he just is like, that's where he excels, and so that's his like, he kind of knows that there's a lot of magic in that, and so he leans into it, you know.
All right, so I have another photo for you. This is, it looks like, what is it? It's a sign outside of a venue. It's G-Eazy, Carnage, Kyle, a.k.a. Kid. So Kid is what he used to go by, right? Yeah,
so when he first started out, he was going by, when I first started working with him, he was going by Kid Cash.
Kid Cash.
And then he shortened that to KID. And then when we first moved to LA, we started talking about KID. And I think I might have put him up to this because KID is actually a pretty dope name now that I think back about it. But I like was in his ear like, man, I don't know if you can be KID forever. Like, think when you're 25, because he was like probably 18 or 19 at the time. I'm like, when you're 25, you're gonna want to be KID.
Yeah.
And it's funny because now he's even older than that. But I was like, you know, what if we like came up with like, or like, what if we came up with just a different name? Or what if you just went by Kyle? And we kind of threw that around and we were like, I don't know, like just Kyle? Like,
and
just
that's
Kyle?
his first name, right?
Yeah, it's his first name, yeah. And we were just like, I was like, yeah, man, your mom named you Kyle, like, just go by Kyle, you know? And so I think he warmed up to it ultimately, but it was like funny because he even got, like when he first like switched, he switched with this song called Silver Platter that was like a video. Carnage is actually in that video. Carnage was actually our roommate in LA. We lived together. Yeah. And so very early supporter of Kyle, both from a production standpoint and like we all moved out here to LA like right around the same time. And so that's like our bro for real. But yeah, so at this time, like he had all these KID like YouTube videos that were buzzy online, but then he like switched his name to just Kyle. We were like, okay, yeah, let's just go by Kyle moving forward. And so I remember why. Okay, so G-Eazy and Carnage were like best buds, and G-Eazy like really early on, like I think with that first video called Silver Platter, G-Eazy saw the video that we did and was like, man, this kid is so dope. Like he's so unique. Like he's a tight rapper. Like he just supported it, and a lot of that had to do with Carnage too, because Carnage probably put G-Eazy up on it. And G was doing a show at the Roxy at the time. He had already kind of like started building a little fan base and buzzing, and he actually sold out the Roxy, and they let Kyle open up the show. And Kyle like did as he always does and just completely turned it up. But I remember G-Eazy's manager, Jamil, who's like still like a really good friend of mine, like kind of going like, man, we can't put just Kyle on the marquee. Like Jamil didn't even get why is he just going by just Kyle? Like, what's that? Like, it doesn't even make any sense. He was like, all right, we're going to put Kyle, a.k.a. KID. And if you see on this marquee, it's like, that's so many letters and shit. And it's like, someone's like, Kyle, a.k.a. KID. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just look at it. And the fact that they even put us on the marquee is fucking dope. So shout out to them. Shout out to G-Eazy. Shout out to Carnage. Shout out to Kyle and KID.
Hell yeah. All right, well, before I let you go, I'm just curious to see what's going on in your guys' life right now. You had a big 2020 with the album, the song with Chris Brown. And it seems like you guys are gearing up for a nice 2021. We'll probably have shows at some point this year again.
Fingers crossed.
What is Kyle and Nolan working on right now?
Man, so I'm just working on whatever Kyle's working on, which is a lot of different stuff. I mean, I got some of my own projects, some of my own stuff that I'm working on, but he filmed a movie with Tom Holland and the Russo brothers. So he's going to be on the big screen on February 26th. It's a movie called Cherry. So that's going to be exciting. And he's just big in the film world. He's been like, got a couple different exciting things like on the horizon, potentially in the film world. He's been writing a lot, writing movies and TV shows and different stuff like that. And he's like been heavy on Twitch streaming, and we're just like keeping the content stuff up, and he's writing a new album as well. Right back to it, just head down, focusing on a new sound. And
could we expect that in 2021?
Man, I hope so. That would be cool. But, you know, I think whenever the time's right, you know, whenever the time is right, no pressure. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. All right, well, thank you so much for coming through.
My man.
Nolan Smith, thank you so much. I hope you had a good time.
Appreciate it, bro.
All right, cool.